meeting?
Boom, start the meeting.
All right, we're close, I promise. All right, we are going to reconvene to open session. Do I have a motion to reconvene back to open session?
So,
We have a motion, we have a second.
second.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. I have a motion that board members certify that only items on the closed session agenda were discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. Yes, Mr. Leach, you all join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve our consent agenda, which consists of the minutes from our general meeting in August?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. Recognitions, Dr. Frazier.
Good evening, school board members. Good evening, school board members and guests. We do have a few recognitions tonight, and we will start with on September 7th, we celebrated and recognized National Grandparents Day.
Thank you.
On the 8th, International Literacy Day. On 9/11, we celebrated Remembrance Day. Today is International IT Professionals Day. Tomorrow, on the 17th, is Constitution Day. Also, National Voter Registration Day. On the 25th, See Something, Say Something Day. The week of the 7th through the 14th is Suicide Prevention Week. And September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. And so what's exciting about this month is that we go back to our RISE Awards. And so our principals will come and present our RISE Awards. And so we will start with Dr. Bird. We'll let Dr. Bird start.
Switch it up.
All right, thank you. So we actually have 4 students for this month, just the way the dates fell, and we didn't have students last month. We didn't recognize them. We wanted to make sure we included all of them. So, first middle school RISE Award goes to 6th grader Charlotte Mooney. Charlotte was nominated by her teachers for building positive relationships with her peers and for her kindness. She got caught helping another student in the hallway when they were having difficulties with their locker, which is tragic for a 6th grader. So that was a big help. And so we thank Charlotte for being kind and helpful. Our other middle schooler was Lucia Inga. Lucia was nominated by one of her teachers for building positive relationships with her peers. While the teacher was trying to explain to a classmate how to make it to a tech conference room, Lucia offered her map, escorted the student, chatted along the way, just made them feel really good about being a little bit lost. So it was very helpful. So our 2 high school RISE Awards, one goes to Sean Latham. Sean's teacher nominated him for his positive attitude and kindness. He participates in discussions, encourages peers, and is very caring and a positive role model in the classroom. And the 2nd high school RISE Award goes to Bella Lott. Bella has, this was like the 2nd week of school. Bella had received 2 positive office referrals for demonstrating excellence in building relationships. Her teachers described her as being compassionate, and she went out of her way to be a calming and supportive person in welcoming some new students to our school, particularly a couple of students with disabilities. She was just fabulous with stepping in and making them feel welcome. So we appreciate her. And our staff RISE Awards, we had a tie this month, which is unusual. I don't think I've had a tie since I've been here. So, but there's a theme. You'll see the theme. The first staff member is described as hardworking, kind, understanding, and caring. Students said that this person teaches her students to be better and kinder people. They say this person teaches her subject, but also teaches valuable life lessons. She teaches respect and is a teacher you can go to when you're having trouble, and she helps you feel better. Students say that she's always in a good mood and has energy no matter what. And that is Miss Brave. So I'm glad that her students recognized her, and she got a tie with Mr. Zaprasny. So we have music theme this month. So students describe him as epic, awesome, fun, cool, and caring. They say that he makes class fun, works to address each of the students' individual questions, never ignoring a single one. He always helps out, keeps a calm attitude, and is encouraging students to continue. Another student, this is great, another student said, he is such a chill guy, Beethoven would be proud. There's Star Wars.
Now we'll have Ms. Tiffany.
Good evening, Chairman Jenkins, members of the board, Dr. Frazier. Thank you for having me this evening to recognize 3 special members of our West Point Elementary School family for this month's Rise Awards. We have 2 staff members of the month because we couldn't acknowledge the work of one without the other. Shayna Walker is our new 4th grade teacher and volunteered to move when our numbers and class sizes were growing at a rapid rate. We were grateful to be able to add a new class, but this left her preschool class without a teacher. We were also fortunate to have Jessica Sanderson as an assistant for the class who was ready and able to fill in while we found a permanent replacement. Both of these employees stepped up at a moment's notice to do what was best for students, and we appreciate their dedication. Our September student of the month is 5th grader Mackenzie Herring. She was selected because she demonstrates the Pointer Promise each and every day. She's an excellent role model for her peers and a true leader at our school. Her teachers recommended her to be a bus sign holder for dismissal, which she takes her job very seriously. She's an honor roll student and a military-connected child. In her spare time, Mackenzie enjoys dancing, and her favorite color is violet. We are so proud to have her as a West Point employee.
We are proud of all of our Rise Award recognitions tonight. We know that here in West Point, we truly focus on the relationships, innovation, being student-centered, and excellence. And all of the folks that we've talked about tonight truly exhibit those things. And so we're proud to always recognize our students and our staff at our board meetings. And this year we plan to also highlight these folks on Facebook, on social media. And so we'll be working the next few days to get pictures uploaded to social media so we can recognize them in our entire school community. So those are all the recognitions I have tonight.
Thank you. Always great to hear stories about our students and staff living the values. All right, presentations. First up, WHRO Educational Services, Mr. Schmidt.
Chairman Jenkins, Dr. Frazier, members of the board, thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. My name is Bert Schmidt. I'm the president and CEO of WHRO, and I'm coming with you tonight because you're one of the 21 school divisions that literally own the license to WHRO. We're the only media company in the entire country owned by collaboration of K-12 school divisions. And so we provide you, and I think you've got both a hard copy and an electronic version and photographs of this customized report for you. And then every other year I come out to speak to you, just give you a quick summary. Rather than me going through the details of the report, we prepared a video for you, so I'm going to ask that we can play that video.
WHRO stands out as the nation's sole public media station owned by a collaboration of 21 school divisions. This distinctive ownership model places education at the heart of our mission, influencing every aspect of our work. Our team of educators is committed to offering students, teachers, and families innovative, free, high-quality programs and services. One key service that WHRO offers is eMedia VA, Virginia's leading digital content repository. With nearly 100,000 free, top-quality instructional resources, eMedia VA provides educators and students with videos, interactive tools, games, lesson plans, images, and more. This platform is designed to enhance personalized learning and make classroom experiences more engaging. For our youngest learners, WHRO offers exciting educational activities to spark their imagination. Our 3 education vans visit elementary schools with programs tailored to Virginia's standards of learning, covering literacy, numeracy, scientific investigation, and technology. We also support parents and caregivers, ensuring children are prepared for kindergarten and set up for success in their early school years. For secondary educators, WHRO provides a catalog of 29 award-winning, customizable online courses and digital resources. These media-rich SOL-aligned courses are designed to integrate seamlessly with various learning management systems. They offer flexibility for face-to-face, flipped, blended, and fully online teaching environments, enriching lessons with engaging content. At WHRO, we celebrate student achievement through competitions that showcase their talents. The Great Computer Challenge, for example, gathers school teams from across the region at Old Dominion University to tackle real-world technology problems. Another highlight is the Town Bank Regional Spelling Bee, where middle school champions compete at WHRO's studio for a chance to advance to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. The local competition is recorded and aired on WHRO each April. Elementary students also have an opportunity to shine through our PBS Kids Writers Contest. This competition invites young writers to craft and illustrate their original stories, fostering creativity and critical thinking. Our Student Advisory Board reflects our commitment to student engagement. This group of high school students offers feedback on WHRO's content and has opportunities to create their own, influencing our online courses and eMedia VA resources. We're equally devoted to supporting educators through our professional development programs. Our workshops and training sessions provide teachers with cutting-edge strategies and tools, empowering them to inspire and guide their students effectively. Visit WHRO's education webpage to learn more about how these amazing free materials, programs, and resources can benefit you. At WHRO Public Media, we're proud to partner with our local school divisions and the Virginia Department of Education to shape the future of education one student at a time.
As I mentioned, the report you have details the specific usage that the division uses of the services mentioned here. But as board members, I want to highlight page 2 real briefly. It's an executive summary. At the bottom, return on the investment. I'm going to read for you. West Point Public Schools invested $2,874 in WHRO services during the 24-25 school year and received direct and indirect benefits valued at $657,000, a return of $228 for every dollar invested. How would you like that return on investment? And I'm available for any questions.
Well, Mr. Schmidt, we certainly, relationships are important to us, and we certainly appreciate the partnership with WHRO helping us with our community and our schools. So we appreciate that partnership. We appreciate your time tonight, and hope you enjoyed the pregame.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you for your time.
I want to hang out a lot more with you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks so
Have a good
much.
night.
Thank you so much.
All right. Dr. Hauser is next up. Gifted program update.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am sad to report that our 2 teachers, living Gloucester and Matthews, today decided they should probably go home. And we had several students coming too, but their parents got the email and took them home too. So it's just me, not even Mr. Schmidt wanted to say for gifted. So pointed in the right direction, gifted learners. So at the elementary level, we have Mrs. Whitehurst, who works with our gifted population, and at the middle high school, we have Mrs. Jennifer Hart. So at the elementary school, classroom differentiation is provided to the students, and every classroom teacher there fills out a differentiated education plan, which involves extra things, different things that they provide the gifted learners with to either accelerate them or enrich them. We have an intervention block at the elementary school, which, if I'm going to be completely honest, in the past, for 5th grade, we have used that for some acceleration, particularly with math. But in our other grade levels, post-COVID, there's been such a push to remediate students to get them caught up that the intervention block really could be used for more gifted services, but currently it's pretty much just with 5th grade. And also through meeting with teachers, talking about good instruction, because good instruction is good for all learners, including those who are gifted. So Mrs. Whitehurst wrote this, but basically it says that she keeps students after school who are identified as gifted or who their teachers have said need some extra extension activities, and works with them. So they work on creative puzzles, they work on engineering puzzles, all sorts of different collaborative and innovative ways of learning after school with Ms. Whitehurst. And here's some pictures of some of those friends doing some of their enrichment activities. And some of those pictures we actually took at summer governor school with Ms. Whitehurst, and I were both there. So summer opportunities, we do have the regional governor school, which we had 3 students attend from the elementary school. We also had a student attend a gifted camp for a month this summer, which was awesome. And we have had students participate in the William and Mary summer gifted programs. We don't pay for those or anything, we just hook the students up with the opportunities. So the same for the middle and the high school. Ms. Hart posted some of her links on here, but we won't get into those right now. Basically talking about how teachers work with students and how students are referred to the gifted program. So in middle and high school, they also have the opportunity to work with the Quest program. So they've done all different sorts of enrichment activities after school, and the middle and high school students, sometimes they have really competing activities with sports and other clubs and things, but they can have 6th graders with seniors and people working together after school. But it is something additional that we provide if you are able to participate. So summer opportunities, we had Maddie, she attended the summer regional governor school, and we had Callie Sharp attend the summer residential governor school. And even though Callie couldn't be here tonight, she provided us with a video. I believe that's at the end? Okay, sorry, thank you, Ms. Gray. So we do have a gifted advisory that meets several times a year. A few years ago, if you recall, we had a lot of parents sign up for different advisories, and we're still, so some of the parents that signed up never came. So we're always wanting people to be on the advisories for gifted. We have 10 right now, but I think part of the issue is they are busy people and their children are busy people, and so maybe the times aren't always the best with the late afternoon. So we might have to explore some different options there, because we're always looking for people who want to help us think of ideas for programming and such for gifted students. We do have a new gifted plan, which the advisory, at least the teachers and myself have been working on, which we will bring to you for approval in the coming months. We've asked, which I know that you know, we've asked for a gifted resource teacher for the past few years, but budgetary constraints were at work, and that didn't make it into the budget, but we plan on asking for that again. And so heads up. And then also at the elementary school, I had 4 teachers who came forward to say they would like to start an elementary beta. In a previous life, I was the head beta sponsor. And so I've been working with them to start the club, and I think that's going to go really well. And we're really hoping that we can eventually provide that to 4th, 5th, and 6th, because then it can sort of feed into the Junior Honor Society and student government and the Key Club and other things that are offered for high school students. So we're getting that going and off the ground. So I think we have our, thank you, Ms. Britt. We have our Callie Sharp video.
Hi, I'm Callie and went to Governor School for Vocal Music. Thank you so much for the opportunity to go to Radford's 3-week summer program for free. I really appreciate it and it was an amazing experience. For 3 weeks, I sang in recitals with solo and group performances, and since my goal is to go to college for musical theater, the performance aspect was very beneficial. But not only were the performances helpful, I also got to work with multiple professors and hear multiple opinions on how to improve as a vocalist and how to do well in college and the whole process of getting there. We also spoke with a college admissions officer, and so I got a lot of good advice for every college that I want to apply to, not only Radford. But another plus to getting accepted into this program was that I'm actually accepted into Radford University now. I only had to fill out a really short application and I'm accepted. So that's really awesome to hear. Also, living on the college campus for 3 weeks, I was able to realize that there are certain things about college that I will and won't like and will change from campus to campus, and it just helped me realize that there's more things to look out for. Also, aside from the technical program, I made a lot of great friendships because the program had lots of fun activities to do and groups that you were assigned to, so that was awesome, and I learned that I also would try a lot of new things in college. Overall, my experience at Governor School was eye-opening and lots of fun, and definitely it'll be a memory that I always think back of when I think of high school in the future. Thank you so much. Hi.
Yay! Yes, it is a rigorous process to apply to one of the residential governor schools. So Kylie and I had to meet once a week for an hour or 2 for 12 weeks to get everything straight for her to apply. You have an adjudication where you audition and you have to get recommendations and from all different people in the community and at school. So she really put her nose to the grindstone and fulfilled everything she needed to do and she was accepted. So super proud of her. So I wish that I could tell you that I thought we were completely, sorry Dr. Fraser, pointed in the right direction when it comes to gifted education. But really we're in a struggle with who needs what more, and it's really not a very fair time to be gifted in school. It's just really a hard time because we have lots of students who need lots of things, and I feel like it's impossible. Today I meet regularly with the gifted coordinators in the schools, and today we were talking about intervention, and the teacher I was speaking to said, well, I have 23 students during intervention block. So who do you think I work with? So in her class of 3rd graders, she also has one student who is completely a non-reader, not reading at all. She said, I've worked with that student almost every time. The interventionists at the elementary school, through no fault of their own, but they're doing state required testing for the whole month. Because some of those tests take the better part of an instructional period to complete. So maybe in the future, I hope, maybe we can work in and get an interventionist for gifted who could pull the gifted students during that intervention block. And certainly we can ask more people, but there's a lot of people working really hard. And a lot of people are working hard for gifted students. It's just not enough, and I don't know that it would ever be enough, but that's just me. usually am, but I, in a former life, I was a gifted administrator and I have my PhD ABD in gifted, so it's kind of a place close to my heart. So, yeah, it's just a hard spot to be in. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes when it comes time to the budget, but it's a hard place to be.
I appreciate your candor.
Yes.
And I think we've talked about it before.
We have.
And being the mom of 2 identified gifted students, you're right, it's a struggle. And as a teacher, from a teacher's perspective, I have these kids with a little red apple next to their name. And I'm like, well, what are we doing for them?
Right.
Oh, we just put them in harder classes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so the struggle is real.
Right.
It really is. So hopefully we can come up with a creative solution maybe.
Yes, because here we do have some good pathways for students who are ready to accelerate, as far as like the 4-year pathway, our dual enrollment, a department that we've been hit hard in is CTE. We went from having 3 that I know of really working in the engineering portion of CTE to a part-time person. That's an area where maybe you wouldn't necessarily anticipate a lot of giftedness, but yes, there's giftedness there. And in the trades, we've expanded those opportunities because I talked earlier in the year at one of the professional learnings about a student of mine from the past who became a long-distance truck driver so he'd have time to think. Highly gifted individual. So, we do have some pathways. We have some teachers who work extremely well with gifted learners, probably because of their training and because of their own needs when they were in school. So we have some really bright spots. It's just we need to do more with really developing that level of brain capacity, which is a difficult place to be in. I mean, if you're looking at the pool and you've got kids swimming and kids sinking and kids drowning and kids flopping, you're probably not going to throw the life preserver to the kids swimming by. But we probably need to rethink that because we really are a place of excellence and we want to make sure that all kids get what they need. So I'll stop talking before someone pushes me out the door.
Yeah, so I think it's important to acknowledge that, yes, that there's the staffing piece of this, that we definitely have struggles with staffing when it comes to gifted. Because in order to have certified teachers and have certified teachers with the time, teachers that are certified and endorsed in gifted instruction, and then the time in which they can work with students. But I think it's also important to acknowledge that at some point we have to be creative with scheduling in order to have time during the school day for students to receive gifted services. And so, and those gifted services cannot come where students have to pick and choose between going to an elective where they want to participate in engineering or a CTE course, they want to participate in choir or band, or do they get to participate in a gifted class? And so, when we look at the enrichment period, the intervention block at the elementary level, it's going to be important for us moving forward to also look at what type of intervention or enrichment block can also be incorporated at the secondary level to make sure that all students are getting what they need. And so that's your students with disabilities getting the additional supports they need, and then your students at the that are gifted can get the enrichment services that they need. And I know Dr. Bird and her team are working to have those conversations. We also had a team from VCU that came last year that had conversations and met with staff around schedules. But at some point, we do have to be innovative and just think outside of the box and think about how we can approach this differently. So.
As you work through the gifted plan, I know you obviously conveyed that the hope and the aspiration would be to do better with the gifted program, and we've navigated through a lot to get to where we are. As you work through the plan, are we trying to establish some performance indicators and metrics so we can kind of retouch this and measure as we go forward?
That is generally not a part of the gifted plan. The plan talks more about what the division is able to provide, which is kind of limited because you don't want to put anything in the plan that you can't do.
Sure.
Because it becomes like a legal document and people are looking at it and kind of making sure you're doing those things. But we could on the side, provide some of those metrics. Our gifted students perform well. I mean, they do well on even the more general tasks like the SOLs, for example. So we could have something like that going on just so we can look at the data. Like we know how many kids we have, we know the kinds of things they go into, later on in high school and then to college or career or military or trades. So we could try to do that, Mr. Evans. It's just not in the plan. The plan says like this is who we're working with and this is how we're going to work with them. But I'm open to anything, any ideas.
Yeah, no, more so I meant that you touched on staffing needs, and in the past we're able to more specifically address a need when we can highlight specifics associated with that need versus just a general understanding that there's a need. So where my head was going with that is that if we're evaluating metrics, we can see a specific shortcoming or wherever it may be. I just more so meant that if the plan had aspects to it that we're trying to, whatever the goal may be, if we're trying to touch screening and testing, maybe it was twice a year, and that becomes a metric. Or we've got X number of kids that are actively engaged in a program within the gifted plan, or whatever it may be, but just trying to highlight if there's a shortcoming.
Right. Well, maybe like what I talked about earlier with other grade levels, sort of pre-COVID, being able to work with some of those students, and now it's a little more of an intervention. But like in 5th grade, we are using one of the 5th grade teachers to create a pathway so that we are in compliance with the math acceleration law. But maybe what you're saying is, like we have the Otis Lennon, which every student takes, and then we can see from there who's identified and see what our numbers look like, because we have good solid numbers. We're just like anywhere else, if not better, because of the tuition curve. As far as we probably have more gifted children here than other places. It's the smell in the air. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
The data too that you collect, not necessarily doesn't have to be like in stone, but that can help you a couple years from now where you see, oh, these students tend to gravitate towards this, or this is how they schedule their time.
Yeah.
Maybe here we could schedule a whole thing so that down the road, maybe not tomorrow, but a couple years from now that would be really helpful.
We already have, with the intervention block at the elementary, every grade level has that block of time, that 50 minutes. So it's almost, it's a missed opportunity not to have someone during that time, because what the teachers tell me, and I can understand this 100%, is the gifted students work independently during that 50 minutes every day. So that's a huge missed opportunity as far as a time where they could have a teacher or a trained professional or a sponsor or somebody working with them. So that could be something that we sort of plot out. Like if we had this, then this. Or because we have these kids identified, we need this. I think I'm with you now, Mr. Evans. So, because number-wise, I don't ever want to take anything away from any other population who needs, but number-wise, our gifted population is a strong population and high in number. So the fact that they don't have their own person is kind of strange to me. When other populations do. And I get it, it's that life, it's the life path kind of thing you're throwing out, but these are the kids that are gonna, all of our kids are gonna lead us into the next, generations. But, you have to believe in a growth model. You're not a teacher, right? Like, that means that you start a kid here and you get them here, right? So every single student should be moving from here to here. Every student, I'm starting to yell, but including the students who are here, right? They need to be here. So anyhow, if you believe it all in growth, which
this might be a controversial.
Uh-oh, Lord.
Dr. Fraser might already know what I'm going to say, because I brought it up to him before. So back in my day, when I was in school, you were in a classroom based off of your level, right? And so therefore the education you received was tailored to the level that you were at. So your teacher, like if you were at the, you're higher up, then your teacher is tailoring everything that's going on in that classroom to that level. If you're lower, then you would have, the supports are there in place for that. Maybe it's time to rethink that. You don't have to answer me, but if we have a large population of gifted, and then we have a large population of kids who are needs, I'm sure we have a large population of right there in the middle, right? Then wouldn't it be best for students, best for kids, to put them in a classroom where all day they are getting education at the level that they need to be at, versus, like you said, the kids who can fend for themselves are sitting there by themselves for 15 minutes or however long that block is. And the teacher is stressed. Like as a teacher, it's stressful when you have a room mixed with all these kids at different levels. And you're right, you have to pick the kid that's drowning, right, to go with your analogy. But then those other kids are not getting an education that they should be getting. So, controversial statement perhaps, but maybe that shift that we had in our education system to mixing everybody up isn't actually what's best for kids in the long run, especially given maybe our demographics. And maybe it's school by school, but I mean, if we're talking about the numbers, which I think is what you're talking about, maybe it's time to reconsider that. But you ask teachers and they're going to tell you it's not. I mean, let's be honest. I haven't met a teacher yet who's like, I love the fact that I have kids at 3+ different levels in my classroom. It makes for such an easy experience and I'm able to reach them all efficiently and effectively. That's not true.
So I think that one difference now, well, we have some limiting factors as far as our size. Because a student could be really strong in math, but not be strong in reading, or strong in science, or strong in PE, and not be strong, so if we try to put everybody, okay, if you're more or less strong, you go over here. I mean, we're not fixed humans, right? And it's good for people to be around all different kinds of people, since there's all different kinds of people in the world. But opportunities to be clustered benefits the SPED students, benefits the EL students, and the gifted students. So sometimes you need a cluster to work on that skill again with a SPED student. You need a cluster to translate into Spanish or Portuguese or whatever language you're talking about, and you need a cluster to boost it up for the gifted. I think what's thrown us off the past few years is, you said this, Ms. Sturks, is it's like 10 different groups of students, It's these students who, can teach the material, these students who are primer, but they're in 5th grade, and then these that don't speak English, and then these over here, it just starts to get more and more and more. And it is true, the demographics are changing. They're changing, and we see things on all different ends that we haven't necessarily seen before. So it's a lot to manage, and it kind of happens naturally as you matriculate up through, up into the upper levels of high school. Kids kind of move with a cohort into the dual enrollment classes. So it's hard in a system this size to have everybody going where they need to be at every point in the day. So that's why I'm talking about intervention block. At least at some point, students can go with who they belong with. Whether it's the reading specialist, the gifted resource teacher, the EL teacher, at some point in the day, you should get to go with who you belong with.
Is intervention block, you said 15 minutes?
50.
Oh, 50. 50. I was like,
52.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like 15.
No, 52.
We need to rethink that.
Yeah. It's like you're in, you're out. No, it's 52 minutes. Well, wait, is it 52 minutes? All right, it's 52 minutes at the middle school, high school.
I was gonna say that's a high school block. I know.
Yeah. So I think it's 50 minutes, something like that. Okay. Anything else from that?
No, I appreciate your passion about it. I appreciate you digging in and working on it.
I love all our kids, every single one. All right, thank you.
So I do have a couple of things to say. one, I think, Mr. Evans, you are right. We do need to look at the numbers and look at the data. And so what I'm going to task Dr. Hauser, and I'm going to ask Ms. Britt to work with her as we are looking at, as we're using Ms. Britt's position for innovation, but also assessment and data and accountability to really help us to start to look more at numbers. Because I think oftentimes we come with the anecdotal data, but what do the numbers truly say? And so when we start making decisions, it can't always be just what we think the numbers say. We have to be able to see the numbers on paper. And so I'm going to ask Ms. Britt to work with the Gifted Advisory, which it looks like their first meeting is going to be on September 23rd. So Dr. Hauser, Ms. Britt, work with them to start unpacking this data. What does the data tell us about our gifted population? So then, when we go into budget season, we have some true numbers to make some decisions. And then we know that, like I stated before, that Dr. Bird is working with her team at the secondary level to start to look at scheduling. And so, because once you hire a gifted teacher, you put a gifted teacher in there, you got to figure out how you're going to fit them into the schedule. And so, and I don't know if it's always best that students lack in one area in order to gain in a different area. So I think that if we're trying to educate the whole child, we need to be able to give children everything that they deserve. And so I think we need to look at the data, make data-informed decisions, and then look at our scheduling, and then look at our budget, at our budget constraints to see how we can make things work financially to then incorporate the gifted teacher, or the gifted interventionist, or whatever the model is going to be. But I think we definitely do need to start with the Gifted Advisory, which encompasses Dr. Hauser and the gifted teachers in both buildings, where they can kind of have those data conversations with the parents and the community members that are also in the advisory.
Is one of us on the? One month. Is that maybe all?
Well, no.
We can make that happen.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Frank.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, Dr. House.
Yeah, I can be on the gifted one, because right now there's two of us on. Yeah, so since Nicole joined, right, so she can see on CI, and I can move to gifted.
We can make that.
Problem solvers.
All right. Ms. Britt, talk about some innovation.
Oh yes, we're going to talk about communication. So we are really excited. We are actually going to move to another communication platform. Currently we use ThrillShare to send emails and messages and alerts. However, we think that Parent Square is a better format. It's a better tool for us with our families. It used to be called Remind, so you might be familiar with it. Might be familiar with some of the features that it has in its former title. We chose it because it has an easier interface for making and posting eye-catchy newsletters. It automatically translates posts, emails, and text into over 100 languages. So those of us who have been on the back end of it, having to put our stuff in Canva and translating and posting, it will automatically do that just based on how the parent is in PowerSchool, and also they can do their settings so they can have the language that will come in. It allows for easy creation of groups for teachers and club sponsors and coaches. And it has text messaging feature so that teachers can directly text message parents in any language and get responses back in English. So of course teachers will have office hours as to not interrupt during instructional times. So hopefully parents understand that they may not be communicating right back until they are able to, but that office hours will notify that parent to let them know. What we've done so far in training, our administrators have been trained. Our teachers are actually going through daily training now. Each of 5 days they have a snippet or video to watch. And then we hope to have it all rolled out to parents on September 21st. So you will be seeing communications in the admin newsletters, and Dr. Frazier will be sending something out soon to parents. Parents don't have to do anything as it's coming through PowerSchool, so emails and texts and posts will automatically go to parents. However, there's some extra features in Parent Square that they may want to go ahead and register their accounts because they are able to do RSVPs and sign-ins and accept wish lists, for class parties, that type of thing. So we would recommend that parents do accept that invitation that will be coming in their emails. Once they are in, they're going to have flexibility of setting up notifications on how they receive communication, so they can set it up to come to a certain time each night so they don't get that information overload. However, we do have that override if there's instant alerts through the school that it will override that so that parents are in the know. So we have all of those things, and just recently, hot off the press, the web page is now up and running for parents to receive access on frequently asked questions. So if you go to the school website and you look under the Parents tabs or the division website, you will see a tab called Parent Square. You can just click on that. You'll be able to see all the information about how to activate your account.
So is this gonna be for all the schools?
It is.
Just elementary, okay, so all of them?
It is for both. Now, we do know that in the elementary school, like some of our teachers have Class Dojo, and I would expect that some will continue with that relationship through Dojo. However, this gives them that, and I'm gonna leave it up to the administrators in the buildings to make that final decision on that. But just that ability to text a parent, especially an EL parent with that translation component. So they may use it for certain things and not for others. So if you're already in Dojo and you're like, what am I gonna, that would be up to the teacher and the administrator to make that decision, but I would assume that your Dojo will still go, but you might get, your newsletters on Sundays through Parent Square.
Okay. Is this gonna be, when you mentioned athletics
That's
and clubs, is the policy going to be that all sponsors and all coaches will use this and that's it? Or are we still gonna have a smorgasbord of ways of contact?
Yes, right now they're using Spawn.
Yes, so I'll have discussions with the administrators and Dr. Frazier to see which the best. We haven't really rolled out a policy yet. I mean, in this current, right now we want to get parents on board with it, and we want to get our teachers trained, and start getting those newsletters out. So we're gonna roll that out. If there are some coaches that are immediately like, I wanna create a group, and then you get a QR code that you give to your families, and then they can sign on that way, we can go ahead and do that. But I will talk with the administrators and the athletics to see how they want to roll with that.
My 2 cents for whatever it's worth, is I think we should have it consistent, at least for extracurriculars. I understand classrooms. Yeah, I think for extracurriculars, it just makes it simple and it'll avoid perhaps some
miscommunication.
Yes.
We will.
Or bad communication.
Yes.
We will definitely be moving in that direction.
Okay.
I know that it's definitely going to be some transition. I have participated or completed my day 2 of going to camp.
Okay.
And this training.
I put on summer camp.
I am also fully transparent that I have Skillshare down pat, and so I know how to send communications out pretty quickly with Skillshare. And so now I got to learn a new system, and so that's So I know what I'm experiencing myself, and so I'm gonna give folks a little bit of grace as we transition. But I do think that it's gonna be the best practice in the division that we eventually all get to that we're using the same.
Yeah, just the one platform, Okay.
Love it. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Britt. Delegations, Mr. H. Okay. All right, reports, Mr. Walker, you're up. Bad it looks like.
Good evening. So I'm coming to you all as a report on our baseball, softball field improvements. Just kind of a little backstory of where we are, or just kind of how we got to where we are. Last baseball season, last spring season, the athletic director at the time came to me with just some concerns in regards to just some of the conditions of the infield. It was a rainy spring, so it really kept us off the fields quite a bit because of drainage issues. And so I had him, kind of figure out a plan to get through the season and then work with the coaches to kind of let us know what their concerns were when it came to what our focus should be. And at the time, the main focus is the infields of each field. They don't drain well. They definitely have lacked some attention, and we can talk about kind of the things that we're trying to fix and improve upon. But I think overall, it's a project that we start here, and then we need to continue to build on, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. So why it matters first, the drainage issues that we had on the infields, it kept us off the field quite a bit, practices and games, and when, maybe it should take us a day to get our fields back and ready after a rainstorm, it was taking multiple days to get us to where we needed to be. Making sure that we're meeting VHSL regulations, making sure we have the appropriate dimensions in our field. So if you were to see some of the fields that we have, or the outfield, the baseball and softball fields, the outfield has slowly kind of worked its way into the infield over the years. And so really cutting that back and giving us the proper dimensions. And of course, player safety is the number one focus here, is that we want to make sure they have a surface where it's not causing injuries, it's keeping them safe so that they can enjoy the game they love. And upgrades, of course, will extend the lifespan of the fields as we take care of those and continue to work the fields. So the project goal is improve drainage. So it's playable, and that we can quickly get back on the fields after rain. Ensure proper field dimensions through VHSL standards. Add quality infield mix for long-term performance. We'll talk about that part in the scope of work. Correct the baseline alignments, cut down the outfield lip. So if you look at the outfield, you can see over the years where as we drag that dirt and keep pushing it out, it just creates this lip to the outfield, which one affects the drainage process, but also can be a safety hazard as well. Provide new equipment, bases, home plate, pitching rubbers. We'll talk about even rebuilding the pitching mound as we kind of reset all of our bases and pitching rubbers and home plate. So the scope of work, so we reached out to 4 companies to kind of just get ideas, companies that specify in sports fields construction, just to get some feedback on what their recommendations would be for the scope of work, aligning with the recommendations that came from the athletic director and coaches at the time. And so this is the scope of work that we have for each field. So in the baseball field, removing a reset home plate, pitching rubber bases and anchors, delivering the infield material. So for the baseball field, it was recommended around 175 tons. And so this is where a bulk of our cost is coming from, is getting this material in. And if you know anything, I'm learning. So just so you know, I was learning too. But this is a heavy screened material, right? So we're going to make sure it's high quality, it's safe for our athletes on the infield. Constructing a new pitcher's mound, providing that the bases are installed, all of that's reset, utilizing the foul poles that are currently there, and resetting all the bases, making sure that they're right. Edging out the outfield so we have the proper dimensions, edging back out our baselines and making sure that they're meeting the dimensions that we have. And then, of course, that goes along with ensuring that we're in compliance with VHSL. Same thing, basically the scope of work for the softball field is very similar. It's all the same, it's just a smaller field. So, less infield material here. The cost for the softball fields, as we look at that, will definitely be a little lower, but it's the same scope of work. Again, redefining those baselines, cutting back the outfield so that we make sure we meet those dimensions, getting rid of the lip there, and then again, laser grading that infill material so that we can help with the drainage process. So estimated cost from each, there's kind of a range of costs from the companies. Is right now we're looking at, for the baseball field, it's more, of course, because more material has to come in, and then the softball fields, as you can see, those costs, and then the total project to do both infields is there at the bottom there, that range of cost. And that, again, this is the focus that we really are focusing on with the infields and getting that started. Obviously, we could also continue to talk about moving to the outfields, right? And what does that look like? How do we get safer surfaces out there? Whether it's, having a turf plan or, you know, with irrigation and things like that. Those are all things that we have to look at in the future, but for now, the focus, at least what was shared with us as a priority, is getting our infields into a condition that are safe, that are meet the regulations, and that drain properly so that we can stay on the fields. And so again, the benefits of doing this is a safe, playable surface for our athletes, compliance with VHSL, reduces rainouts and faster drainage. So again, just the ability for us to get back on the field quicker, so we're not having to be off for days. Professional grade playing conditions and investment in a long-term field quality and school pride, right? So putting our athletes an opportunity to have something they're proud about, and you know, that goes a long way as well. And so next steps again is just reviewing and approve the project scope and then funding. So and then securing a contractor so we can get on the schedule. So it's going to be very important that we get on the schedule soon because we are talking to all these companies right now. If we were going to move forward, we can get on the schedule and we can get this work done. But if it gets pushed back much further, we get into those cold months. And so once we get into those cold months, it's going to be a little bit more difficult after talking to them. And again, with the spring season starting in February, you know, it really would put us in a really tight spot there if we move into the winter months. Some other next steps would be, again, also incorporating working with Mr. Robinson. You know, I've been trying to share some of this information with him, so to bring him up to speed with what we've been working towards, and getting his vision and his expertise in this as well to help guide this project. Working with our coaches to continue to get their feedback to make sure that we're meeting the needs that they feel like they need for this project. And then again, you know, this is just step one to maybe having another vision of building some more pride around the baseball fields, with whether it be just sprucing up dugouts, fence lines and things like that, but working with Mr. Robinson and the coaches to help support that. And then of course, if we're making this investment to improve the fields, we definitely need to work together with athletics, our operations team, our coaches, to make sure that we're maintaining that property so that we can continue up that level of expectations that we have for the field and being in the top tier field around the area. Do you have any questions for me?
It was going to come from me. No, so it's that I appreciate all this. This is fantastic. Love that it's going in the right direction. I do have a question or concern. You said not the outfield. A huge concern, instead of like redoing the outfield, is the moles and the voles or whatever's coming from wherever else. So that might be one of the things you might want to look at first.
Yeah. So
because those holes are.
We've talked. Each company that came out, we actually talked about that. You know, obviously currently we're rolling those fields before games, trying to maintain that. But we talked about different applications which they've tried in the past. Yeah. But again, just working with them to see if we can come up with something creative and work on different applications that would deter the moles or voles in the field, which I think is a very, but it sounds like it's sometimes can be a difficult challenge, but it's definitely something we can continue to work with them on for sure. It was definitely a topic that was brought up and had a conversation about.
I just have I'm a baseball, softball person. What is a pitching rubber?
Oh, it's just the
mound.
Yeah. So there's a mound, but
okay.
the rubber
I thought
when
you said pitching mound, I was like, oh, it's two different things.
Well, so the mound is the hill.
The hill.
Yeah, it's for baseball, and then the
Thank
rubber.
you. Sorry.
The rubber's like what they stand on before they deliver.
Thank you. Okay. I just thought that was all too much. All right.
Any other questions?
So you said deadline-wise, we need to come to a decision here pretty quickly to get on their books then.
I would say if we want to meet that target of spring season, then we need to get on the books soon. We need to, I would say some of the companies were talking about getting us in, end of October, November. So that would definitely get us an opportunity to have it done for spring season. But I think if we get further into December and January, you're going to have a hard time just with the weather so unexpected, right?
What's the time frame once we start, like project-wise? How long are they saying it can possibly take?
I don't think. I think they were telling me like about a week. They would kind of come in and out. Just it all depends on the delivery of the material and getting that. But they would try to get you in within a week of bringing in different people to make sure they got everything done. But that could have been. I'll double check on that. It could have been for one field. Maybe it's a 2-week project for both. But I'll double check on that. So
still a good timeline though. Yeah, turnaround.
But just the biggest thing is that everyone's. All schools are wanting to get improvements done, right? And so we just want to make sure that we're on their calendar, because if we don't get on the calendar, on the schedule, that's when it gets tough, because everyone's also, fighting for those spots to get their stuff done as well.
I have 2 questions. One's for you and one's for Dr. Frazier. So first one is so the field field, gem, choice, that's what's gonna keep it from flooding, essentially. Is that what you're telling me? Because
No,
I know that we kind of talked about this before, we were concerned that maybe it had something to do with like the actual,
So the
Ground.
the material that we're bringing in right now. What's happened is it's like a bowl. Okay, so the field is like a bowl from years of just dragging it. It's created this bowl-like shape, so the water's sitting. So this is going to come in, and they're going to fill it with this material. Is just a high-grade material for infields, right?
okay,
It's heavy screened. It's safe. It keeps the athletes safe on the field. It can help with the drainage process, but it's going to be more so that laser grading that you're going to see. That when they laser grade it out is what's going to help us with having a better drainage process.
Okay.
Where the water's not sitting in
right,
spots, it's able to drain better. It's also going to come down to us working the field, right? Prepping the field before the season. Having turfs put on the field before the season starts, and then having quick dry and things available to our coaches that we can use throughout the season to do that. So it comes with us maintaining and working the field as well, but having it laser graded and having an ability for it to drain properly is definitely going to be a huge saver for us as well.
second question. Where is the money coming from?
We will use capital improvement funds that we receive from the town.
Okay, it's enough to cover both projects?
Yes. And so once Mr. Walker and Mr. Robinson are able to circle back with coaches and also talk with the potential contractors, once we have some final numbers and make sure that it is that the numbers are good to go, then we will be able to proceed with getting the work done. We have in our capital improvement fund. We have over $300,000 that's available. We don't want all this to go to this one project,
Right.
but we have the funds available from our town capital improvement funds to pay for this project.
I guess I have another question for you. Do we have any ballpark, I don't know if it was even brought up about the future, not right now, outfield? Any idea what that might cost or?
Yeah, I have. So the cost that I do have is more. It's more so for just having some sort of turf plan. So Commonwealth Turf Plan over here, I had them put that together. They do our football field, and so they have us on an annual plan where they come in and they're spraying, they're overseeding, and that type of stuff. And so he gave us some ideas of putting overseeing with Bermuda and things like that. But again, I think I would like to talk to Mr. Robinson a little bit more about working through that. We've talked about it. I think they've given us some ideas, but I definitely wanted to just talk with athletics to make sure that we feel like that's the route we would want to go. But again, whatever you do out there, I think I think you have to think irrigation. You have to think it's a project in itself because again, you don't want to if you're investing money into the grass and the surface, you got to make sure we're taking care of it. And irrigation is going to be one of those things we have to factor into that as well. So yes, I do think we can start talking about that as well. I just think this was the bigger project and it's priority, and then we start working on that as well.
That's great. I mean, it'll attract more teams that want to play with us at home versus, we don't want to come there, you have to travel to us. So that will help in all aspects.
No, I think
Transportation.
it's just it's a pride thing. Just be able to put our athletes in the best situation to be successful and be proud about what they're doing and representing their school. So, athletic. I say it all the time. Athletics and our arts. It's a window to our division too. So we want to put our best foot forward.
All right.
Thank
Thank you, Squawk.
Thank you.
I did want to acknowledge Mr. Robinson is in the back.
I thought that was him. Welcome.
All right. Engagement survey summary.
All right. So, as you all know, for the last few years, at the end of the school year, we have been conducting a survey to really find out how our families and school community feel about how we're doing in West Point Public Schools. And so we are very, very proud to be able to receive this information back, and whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. But I think it's important to allow people's voices to be heard. And so in this process, not only do we have a multiple choice survey that folks can take, but we also give folks the opportunity to provide their written comments as well. And so we're gonna go through some of the survey data this evening, and we're gonna talk about some of our next steps. Ms. Britt is more than just a All right, so I've already pretty much talked about this, but the survey was administered in May, and then we received the results in June. And the survey was administered through our communications company, Extension, the Donovan Group, so they are able to, they use their own platforms. They send us the link. We post the link. We email the survey out to families, post it on social media. This year we had 241 respondents to the survey, which is up from the year before, and so we're trending in the right direction there. And so you can see here that 75.1% of the folks that took the survey were parents of our students, and so that's the group that's really giving us feedback on how we're doing. Small number of students that took the survey. It is mostly parents and our staff members. And so we're going to start with Dr. Hauser. Dr. Hauser is going to go through the teaching and learning piece, and then Mr. Leach will take two portions. And also know that this survey is also aligned to our division strategic plan. And so that is where these areas of the survey come from. So Dr. Hauser will present, and then Mr. Leach, and then I will come back.
Okay, what did we learn? So we learned that the majority of respondents thought that yes, we have very high expectations for student learning. And yes, we know that we have friends who understand that attendance is a large issue. And we're always coming up with creative ways to deal with low attendance by some of our students. But if you talk to our school social worker, she would say that some of our students who don't attend have really good reasons for not being here. And we have to put supports in place to get them back in school. And Dr. Fraser and I were talking about this earlier. You know, when you respond to a survey, if you know one student who's chronically absent, you might answer in the negative about this. And that's true with all things on a survey, right? So we're working on attendance, and it is a bear and a half to get all of our kids in school. And yes, we are a high-performing school division.
I'll jump in. But
Yes.
I think you all also know that we are following the attendance process. And so when students are truant, there is a process for that. And that when families need to go to court, we are working through that process. And sometimes folks in the community may not like it, but that is the process, and we're going to continue to follow it to make sure that our students are in school every day.
Attendance is a really hard thing on schools because you don't go to people's houses and force them out of bed and get them on the bus or whatever. So there's only but so much that you can do as a school division anyway. I mean, it's a bear. Sorry.
It's true. So yes, we're leaving a positive impact on students, at least the high majority believe we are. Decision making at school, so this is a hard one. I think we want to have parents involved with decisions in school, but sometimes it doesn't work. You know, sometimes we have parents who are unable to come to a meeting or are not there when the decision is made. But like I said earlier, we're always trying to get parents more involved with the decisions that are made at school. And I've never worked with more responsive people as far as administrators and central office personnel who listen and try to make positive changes as far as decisions in school. And then high quality instructional professionals. Again, if you encounter 50 teachers during your high school career in one way or another, and if somebody feels strongly about one, they might have rated it low, and there's 49 who they have strong. But for the most part, yes, people believe we have high quality instructional professionals because we do. Career and readiness opportunities for students, and as you all know, for the past couple of years, we've really put a lot of energy into this area, and including it in our strategic plan, and then last year having the super cool career fair and all of those types of things. So we're working on trying to get students as prepared as possible in their future careers. And the highest development of those postgraduate skills. So with amazing programs like Bridging and what we're able to offer at the high school, and then like I said, with like career opportunities, inviting the military and different organizations in to talk about their companies, that was amazing. So hopefully we'll see those numbers come up as we roll through the next couple of years. Digital citizenship skills, we're working on it. Now we've got Ms. Britt, who's innovating everything and everybody in her sight. So still very highly rated as far as you can see the strongly agree and agree categories. Again, really strong with integrating technology with the one-to-one laptops, that's huge. And students are given technology tools and experiences to move forward after high school. Very strongly agree. Those are very, very high numbers. So what did we learn, Mr. Leach, about student and staff well-being?
Yeah, so when we start looking at some of these different things with student staff well-being, I looked at it kind of where we are growth-wise. So looking at where we scored last year to where we scored this year. Looking at mental health, we were around the same. Last year we were at 70%, this year we're really at 69%. Talk about consequences and thinking about student discipline and the code of conduct and things like that. Again, we're right around the same place we were last year. But then also looking at the very bottom one, having students that can go to adult. I think that's very important for all of our students. That rose, we're at 85% this year. Thinking about some of the partnerships that we do have the Northern Neck Behavioral Health partnership that we have. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of trauma things this year already, with deaths and things like that. So that partnership was helpful. Ms. Goodwin is bringing back PBIS at the elementary school. So that behavior support system. We have a social work intern this year working with Ms. Music. So, another set of hands. And then we heard last month about the therapy dog program. So we're still working through that. That's just another option for students and staff. Then we start looking at physical health and safety. Kudos to Mr. Walker and the Health Advisory Committee, Advisory Committee, for all the stuff that they put into place. In this area, code of conduct this year was 81%, last year was 74%. So seeing the work that committee is doing, thinking about all the safety protocols. Coming up in October, we have CRACE training, which is, I had to write this down, Civilian Response to Active Shooter. Staff has been asking for those sort of things, so we're going to do that in October. And then we're also putting more emphasis on the Catapult EMS system. For students, if during a drill or things like that, we have something to track those students, which is been a positive thing for our students and our staff to make sure that they're safe. Then we've gone to looking at resources and support. Last year we were at 77% for that first one about attracting, retaining, and developing high quality licensed and support staff. I'm going to say that's because the new HR person. I don't know if that's right. But I would also shout out Dr. Hauser with the new mentor program. When last year we were hiring 10, 12 staff members, and this year we have 3 or 4 new teachers. That retention piece is really important, and making sure that they have the resources they need to be successful while they're here. So I'm really proud of those numbers for the resources and support. And then the next one talks about communication. Apparently I'm in a good mood because Dr. Frazier, I'll give you a shout out for this one.
That never happened.
But thinking about all the videos he's doing, all the communication stuff we're doing, I was surprised by the bottom one because last year we were 94% for using social media. So that dipped a little bit. But with all of our monthly videos and things, I was surprised that went down. And as you heard earlier, we're going to highlight the RISE Award winners every month too. That'd be another way to put that out there. But really, looking at this, last year for the second one, we were at 72%. Now we're about 82% for communication as being timely and two-way. You heard about Parent Square earlier, so we have some things rolling out. But again, I think that's an area that really Dr. Frazier shines and letting everyone know that we're pointing in the right direction. So I think you're gonna talk a little about next time.
So when we look at next steps, we started the school year with our convocation, and well, even before convocation, we spent time as a leadership team this summer to talk about what did we learn from this survey as a whole. And so there were some themes in the survey, and so those themes ended up being accountability, communications, innovation, and engagement. And so those are the four major areas in which we are working on this school year. We're working on that, started out at our convocation by talking with that and working with the staff on those things during convocation, letting them know what it means, what accountability means, what it means for us to be accountable to each other, and us to also be accountable to our stakeholders in the community. How we can increase our communication and how we can do a better job at communication. And so you see that we're rolling out Parent Square. That's a tool to help us with communication to make sure that all of our stakeholders have all the information that they need regarding our school division. When we look at innovation, we have restructured. In our restructuring, we did not hire an HR director, but we hired someone. We moved Ms. Britt into a position that she can help us push those areas of innovation. And in pushing those areas of innovation, we also have given stipends to 2 teachers at the building level to help as ITRTs to be able to help teachers with instructional technology, but also just being able to think outside the box. How can we do things differently in a more efficient and effective way? And then also always looking at engagement. How are we engaging with our community, with our stakeholders? How are we engaging with our staff and with our students? And so we have some activities that will be planned throughout the school year. I have some things that are on my list as superintendent. There's some things that I want to do to make sure that we are truly engaging the community. And so just stay tuned. Like, we are truly committed to making the improvements based on the data that we receive from the survey. And so this presentation, as well as the data pieces of the survey, will be posted on our website on the superintendent's page, where that information is posted there from last year, but we will continue to post the new information. We will not post the comments because we know that when people are sharing those comments, they're sharing those with us, so we can make those changes internally. But we will be posting the data pieces itself. Are there any questions?
So I do have a question and comment. Just because we are privy to the comments and such, going through them, like you were saying, there's a theme to certain things. And one of the huge themes seems to be questions about how we track tuition students and how we verify that information. Do we have a plan going forward of how we're going to do that?
So I think it's more so geared towards residency as a whole and how we are handling residency. And so the leadership team, the senior leadership team, and then the division leadership team has met, and we have begun to draft out some changes to our residency regulation, not the policy, because the policy is the policy, but the regulation is the process in which we verify residency. And so we will be working through that. We'll be getting that feedback, and then we will roll out that new regulation, and we will bring that to the board so the board can understand what we're going to do. We have done a benchmark as to what we've been doing versus what some other divisions are doing that have also seen some of the same struggles. And so we will be tightening up on residency. We have a tuition process here. And so if you don't live in West Point, there's a process to apply for tuition. And if you are not living here, you will have to prove your residency. And some students may have to go to their home schools if it's shown that they don't have a residency in West Point.
As far as getting an increase in participation from our students, perhaps in every English class, beginning of class, everybody got your computer and everybody filled the survey. I know we have to do that for the school climate survey that we do, like kids, second block for us, but some kind of because 1.4% is not a really good indicator of what our students are thinking. I love that we had that many parents responding and then having those positive numbers. I mean, that's great. It would be nice to have more staff and definitely more students participating. So maybe at a staff meeting, everybody get out your computer, fill out the survey.
And
just
so,
an idea.
right, and so for the staff had access to this survey, but we also do other surveys for the staff, and so we had a much higher percentage for the staff because we get into different types of questions. We're looking at more things that are building based for staff, and so staff did complete that survey, and so that information was then shared with building leadership. And even shared with Ms. Goodwin, she came into the elementary school as a new principal, so she had that information going into it. But yes, we definitely do a better job of making sure that students complete the survey. I will be honest and transparent. My goal for this past survey was definitely to make sure that we had an increased number of parents, because last year the number was lower than that. And so the push was definitely with parents. You also know I was sending out text messages, I was sending out posts on social media, I was sending out emails, but this year when we do the survey at the end of the school year, we will make sure that we also have that push and emphasis on our students.
Well, the good news is if the parents are doing it, then the kids are gonna see that the parents are doing it, and then that can spark conversation, and then even conversation amongst groups of friends and stuff. Hey, what do you think, how do you feel? So that's parents leading by example.
But we will definitely push for more students. Any other questions?
All right. Dr. Frazier, you just going with the enrollment update.
Yes, so you have your enrollment, your monthly enrollment in your packet. Usually you receive this every month, but we usually take some time in September to talk about it after school has started. And so after our 10-day count and as of the 10th of this month, we had 819 students enrolled in in kindergarten through 12th grade. So 819 students, kindergarten through 12th grade. Those numbers do not include any of our students that are participating in any of the alternative programs or programs that may not count in our ADM. We then have another 34 students that are in our preschool program. And so when we look at our total number of students and seats being served in West Point Public Schools right now is 853 students. Any questions?
What was our total number last year at this time?
So last year at this time, I think what we calculated was about 15 students.
39.
39. About 15 students.
All right. Action items. All right, for action. All right, first up we have our expenditures and revenues. Have a motion to approve our expenditures and receive our revenue report.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Cafeteria, we have a motion to approve our cafeteria expenditures.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Personnel, we have a motion to approve our personnel recommendations.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. A few donations to approve here. We have a motion to approve the donations.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Our committees for this school year, do we have a motion to approve the West Point Public Schools advisory committees for 25-26?
And that is with the addition of Ms. Hurts.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. got some policy revisions. Do I have a motion to approve our policy revisions? Oh, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second. I heard her. I don't see.
And just, we did note that that one policy that was in that that's in the packet needs to be reformatted, and so our executive assistant that is taking over that responsibility, she's working to just format that policy. Yeah,
No material changes.
no,
Okay.
no change to the content.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, that motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve a private transportation contract?
So moved.
Motion, second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, that motion carries. Thank you. Dr. Frazier, any information? Highlight?
I don't think so, just the calendar of events, so, I'll get the calendar so we can actually,
So we got budget calendar coming up, green grants,
approaching budget season.
and we are, this is always supposed to see. General meeting on the 21st, and I believe Mr. Leach just sent an email to everyone about conflict dates to have an upcoming retreat sometime.
Yes.
Alright.
Would it be possible at the next meeting for us to meet for information, we were talking about attendance, to maybe get, a report on, like, do we have a chronic absentee problem, like, what's our rate? Is that possible to do that? Since it came up today.
Anything else? All right, we're adjourned.